Hare Krishna, Bhagwat Gita as it is, chapter number 2, Shlok number 28. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णवों की जय. हरे कृष्ण. श्लोक नंबर 28. अव्यक्त्यादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधिनान्येव तत्र का परिवेदना. अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधिनान्येव तत्र का परिवेदना. श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को समझाते हुए कह रहे हैं कि अर्जुन, यह भौतिक शरीर अपने जन्म से पहले अव्यक्त या अप्रकट अवस्था में था. जब इस भौतिक शरीर का जन्म होता है तब ये कुछ समय के लिए व्यक्त होता है और इस शरीर के मृत्यु के बाद पुनः यह अव्यक्त या अप्रकट हो जाता है. तो इस अस्थायी शरीर के लिए शोक करने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. यह बिल्कुल उस स्वप्न के समान है कि हम स्वप्न में कभी देखते हैं कि हम आकाश में उड़ रहे हैं या राजा की भांति रथ पे बैठे हैं, किंतु जब हम जागते हैं तो हमें यह ज्ञात होता है कि न तो मैं आकाश में हूं और न ही किसी रथ पर. तो क्या ऐसे स्वप्न के लिए हमें शोक करना चाहिए? कदापि नहीं. बिल्कुल इसी प्रकार जो हमारा भौतिक शरीर है कुछ समय के लिए प्रकट होता है और फिर समाप्त हो जाता है, तो इस शरीर के लिए अत्यधिक शोक नहीं करना चाहिए और शांत मन से अपने कर्तव्यों का पालन करना चाहिए. ऐसा भगवान ने अर्जुन से कहा है. In this shlok, Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjun that the body of all the living beings is in the state of unmanifest in the beginning. Then it gets manifested for some time and again it gets unmanifested when the body is destroyed or annihilated. So what is the need for lamentation for a temporary body? Srila Prabhupada says that even if we believe the atheistic or Buddhist theory that there is no soul and before the birth of the body it was all empty or void, and after the death of the body it becomes all void. So it means that before the manifestation of the body it was all void, and after the annihilation of the body it will again become void or empty. Then for the loss of this temporary body, why should anyone avoid or disrespect the allotted duties? This can be properly understood with the example of a skyscraper building, which is made of bricks, stones, cement, etc., building material. When dismantled, all the building material gets back to its origin, that is, earth, and it can be reused to make a building again, because the energy in every element doesn't get destroyed. Rather, it is absolutely intact in its original state. In the same way, our body, which gets manifested by the combination of five elements of nature, and after the destruction of the body, all the elements go back to its source. Air of our body goes back to the air, fire to fire, sky to sky, earth to earth, and water goes back to water. So it's all about the cycle of construction and destruction of the body, and our soul changing the old body like changing of our dress. In Bhagwat Gita, chapter number 2, Shlok number 18, Krishna clearly says, Antvante ime deha nityasyuktah sharirina anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata, which means that in this temporary body lives the permanent soul, which can never be destroyed by anyone. And once we know that I am not my body and I am the spirit soul, and everyone around me is also spirit soul, which can never be killed or destroyed, then there is no need for tension or lamentation on the destruction of the temporary body. Srila Prabhupada says that the human birth, which is got after 84 lakhs birth and death, is meant to liberate our soul from the bondage of material attractions. The 6 stages through which all the material body goes through is common in all the species, like birth, growing up, producing children, becoming old, and getting disease, and finally the death of the body. The only uniqueness in the human birth is this, that we can know our true self, that I am not my temporary body, but I am the spirit soul, which is the part and parcel of Sri Krishna, who is Ajo Nityam Shashvato Ayam Purano. And my soul keeps taking new body after the destruction of the old body to fulfill the desires of my mind. This condition is just like a bird in the cage. The bird is the soul, and the material body is the cage. Suppose if we only clean and look after the cage and do not feed the bird, then the bird will die. And after the death of the bird, no one takes care of the cage or cleans it. We are all caged birds. Sometimes we are in the cage of a aquatic species, sometimes like flying birds or crawling creatures, and sometimes in the body of 4-legged animals or in the body of a tree. All this can be understood only in the human birth, and we can try to come out of this endless cycle of birth and death and put an end to accepting different kinds of body or cage one after the other. Our topmost duty or dharma is to liberate our soul from the temporary material body, or at least save our soul from getting a body in lower species. Our body is the cause of all the pains and pleasures, and no one can stop the body from becoming old and diseased. The earlier we accept this reality, we become sober and civilized. Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjun in various ways so that Arjun becomes sober and does his duty of fighting in a calm manner. Bhagavad Gita is meant to calm our mind and to make it strong to handle the difficult situations of our life. Today, in the present condition, all of us are using masks and sanitizers to protect our body from the virus of corona. But how many of us are thinking about protecting the soul? I believe very few people. And the reason is this, that it is very, very simple that we are taking all precautions because we think that we are body and all the care and concern is only for our body and the body of our near and dear ones. Frankly speaking, there is nothing wrong in protecting the body, but at the same time, soul should also be protected. And the only way to nourish and protect the soul is by reading or listening to Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And by doing so, our soul is protected from accepting the body of a lower species because our next life is determined by the wishes and desires of our present life. I bow down to Srila Prabhupada and all the senior acharyas who are guiding us what to desire so that at least we secure our next life to be born in a human form, which is the highest species in the entire creation. I bow down to all the listeners and request everyone to listen to the Bhagavad Gita shloks and share it more and more with others. Please do write your comments as it really encourages and inspires me. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Hare Krishna.